Hello, welcome to Learn English with News. This is a podcast, episode 2, where we talk about the news and we dissect it. We find the vocabulary you don't know and help you understand it. Also, we'll work on pronunciation and a bit of shadowing along the way to help you improve your English. I have a co host with me. It's Dan. Say hi, Dan.
Hi Dan, that joke's never going to get old. Hello everyone. Nice to be here again. Hope you're ready to learn some English.
Yes, let's get into it. So, I didn't state at the start of the first episode, but I'm from the south of England, Dan's from the north of England. So, what we're going to do after each article we read is we're going to read it. Both of us will read through the full article so you can listen to two different accents and get used to them. And then also, if you want to practice some shadowing along with that, improve your pronunciation, you can do. So, be prepared for that. And then also in the description, there is a PDF with extended versions of these articles and explaining all the definitions throughout it, more in depth than we do here. So please be sure to check that out. Okay, let's get on to the first article from today. And the first article is the Georgia abortion ban overturned. That's the title, Georgia abortion ban overturned. So, what do you think about the title? What do you think this is going to be about, Dan?
It's going to be a very touchy subject, I would imagine. Very divisive in people. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of legal vocabulary as well, probably.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some nice detailed vocabulary that we can go through. It is a topic that maybe puts people on two different sides. There's normally, it's a bit of a, one side or the other side. You normally fall down on, don't you? But yeah, I think this will be an interesting one to go through. What we'll do is that we'll go through two paragraphs from this article. We'll go through one paragraph, dissect the definitions, then go through pronunciations, and then we'll go on to the next one. Okay, so I'll read through the first paragraph. Here we go. In a significant ruling on September 30th, 2024, a Georgia judge struck down the state's 6-week abortion ban, deeming it unconstitutional. The ban, which was enacted in 2019 and went into effect in 2022 after the US Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade, prohibited most abortions once fetal cardiac activity could be detected, typically around 6 weeks of pregnancy, often before many women realize they are pregnant. Okay, there's a nice little tongue twister there. Georgia judge. Say that 5 times fast.
Judge. Yeah, it's hard, that,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's a tricky one, yeah. Georgia judge. Okay, so let's look at some of the tricky vocabulary in this one. We have the word ruling to start us off.
So ruling is usually an official decision made by a judge or a court or something. Basically, it's like making a law or something officially decided that that's now how it's going to be. So yeah, for example, in this case, the court issued a ruling related to abortion law.
Okay, nice. Yes, that's right. So yeah, we have here in a significant ruling on September 30th, 2024. So this has happened, and this is the important thing that happened. Yeah, for sure. The law that's been added. Okay, let's talk about the next one. Struck down.
Interesting. So to strike something down, I mean, if it's physically, maybe you knock somebody out. But I think in this case, it's like overturning what was already ruled. So it was ruled previously it was going to be this way, and then they struck down that ruling. They got rid of it and they changed it to something new. And it seems like very much legalese language.
Sure.
It's very legal language, I think. Legally, I'm not sure if that's a real word. Sounds good. It should be real.
We invented it today on this.
I've coined it.
You were here, guys. You were here, guys. Momentous day for that. I think that struck down is an interesting term because it sounds a lot stronger than what they could have used in this position. They could have just said stopped,
overturned, or ended. Yeah,
but struck down sounds a lot more stronger,
like a battle.
I should say.
Yeah, like a battle.
Yeah, exactly. Like you explained at the start, like it could be a punch in the face. That's why the strength comes for it, doesn't it? How about this? Now, this might not apply to everybody watching, but unconstitutional.
Yeah, not only quite a long word in terms of pronunciation, but I get the impression it's a word we don't use that much in the UK because we don't really have this idea of a constitution. But in the US, especially, they've got this thing called the Constitution, which is like the laws of the country that was written a long time ago. And if something is unconstitutional, like it doesn't line up with their rules, their constitution. So, yeah, it's kind of like it doesn't follow the American, I don't know what you would say, like the ethos
Yeah,
of
kind of.
America, right? I'm trying to explain it without using more complicated
Yeah, yeah,
words.
yeah. That's yeah, it's
But
a
like
bit
their beliefs, belief is probably a better word.
mantra. Their mantra.
Yeah, mantra is a good one as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably what that means.
It does feel like if you have a conversation about anything which is kind of controversial, guns or
Mm,
this abortion side of
mm,
the 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 thing that people step back to is the Constitution as the backbone
mm.
of their argument every time.
It's
So
like, well, that's what they decided, so that's what we're doing. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. So it
Mm,
show. I think it's really embedded in the culture that the
mm.
Constitution. It's
We don't
deep.
have like that in the UK though, right? We don't really have like
I don't think
a
so.
constitution as such.
We don't, even if we have a conversation about these kind of issues, we don't just say that's the law. We kind
Mm,
of have a better back and forth what the good and bad side are, don't we? So
yeah.
yeah, it's
All right,
interesting,
cool.
slight difference between the two countries.
Mm.
Um,
One of many.
yeah. Enact. How about this one? It says enacted, past tense, but enact.
The verb to enact. To like make it an official law, to take something that's an idea and then make it to the real thing. You enact it. And so in this case, the government enacted a law. You know, they gave birth to a law, I suppose.
Yeah, sure. They made it true, shall we say?
Yeah, yeah, to turn
Factual.
it into real.
A real law. It's a real
Yeah.
law. Okay, yeah, sure. So you can enact a law, and as it says here, the ban which was enacted in 2019 originally. So we got
Mm,
enact 2019, and then you could say struck down in
mm,
2024, can't you? So
mm,
you can see the start and the end by
mm,
using these two words. And then we have fetal. Actually, I
mm,
tell you a very interesting thing. So
mm.
I never knew that there's two spellings for this word.
Is there?
Did you know? And
Oh,
crazy.
one is EA at the beginning, I guess,
No,
right?
no, that's a good guess though. But it is to do with a beginning change. At the British one is actually Foetal.
What? FOE?
Yeah, it sounds meant. Look, you see the red squiggly line? Others can't
This
see
is
it, but I've got this in Word. And there's a red squiggly line underneath the word fetal.
unbelievable.
And
Oh
that's,
yeah, I think I've actually seen like FOETUS or something, but
yeah.
actually this is one of the times where Americans have changed it for the better, to be
Yeah, I think
honest.
so. Yeah, it does. I don't know. It does look like a very old style of spelling, like from Old
Yeah.
English or something, doesn't it? So,
But
it,
okay, yeah, interesting.
yeah, yeah, yeah. What does it mean?
So relating to the fetus, which is like the unborn child, or
Hmm.
I guess in like it could be unhatched if it's like a bird. Is that still a fetus? Does that count? I don't know. Anyway, we'll not get into that. But fetal reply referring to an unborn child, basically. But we also use it in fetal position, as in when somebody like lays down on the floor like a fetus. Looks
Like a
like a
baby in the
yeah,
womb. Yeah, you're
yeah,
completely right.
exactly.
The baby in the womb would be like that. So we do use the fetal position. That's a good.
Maybe if something goes really badly and you can't handle life anymore, you'll lay on the floor in the fetal position.
Let's hope that never happens. But potentially, yeah, of course.
Cool.
Okay, let's go on to pronunciation. So I've got some words that I've noted down here for us today. And here's a couple from this paragraph. I've got the word significant. Significant. A lot of people struggle as the words get bigger, longer, especially with words like this, where there's lots of where the weaker sounds appear. People struggle.
Mm.
So just watch out for this, especially the ending as well. You might think it's, if you speak British English, you might think it's can't at the end, significant, but actually it's couldn't,
Careful.
couldn't, couldn't. I'm being as careful as I can. Significant, yes. And then the next one is unconstitutional. unconstitutional. Again, very long. Watch out for that U sound in the middle. Unconstitutional. I wonder in American it might be
Tuitional.
constitutional. Yeah, that difference
But we
between
love to add the ch there, like
yeah,
YouTube, for example.
yeah. YouTube, yeah, good example. I listen to a tune on the radio. Yeah, of course, it
Exactly.
Tuesday in it. That kind of thing. And then the next one is port. So now I picked this one. It's a small word, but this or sound in the middle is can be
Mm,
confusing for many English learners. This OU. If you think of cloud, for example, you might think this is
mm,
ow in the middle, but then we have an R, which confuses,
mm.
makes it a
Yeah,
bit muddly in the mouth as a
sure.
learner. So court, watch out for that. And then fetal, I picked because of the E sound at the start. Fetal. You might not have realized that when you've read it. And this last one I picked is one that so many people get wrong, but it's such a common word. And that
Mm,
is women. So,
mm,
really, women. Okay. So,
mm,
watch out for those two vowel sounds in that word.
mm,
All right. Let's knock on the door of paragraph two. Uh, here we go. We're going to go straight through. I'm going to read through. So, Fulton County Superior Court Judge Robert McBurney, in his decision, emphasized that the Georgia Constitution guarantees the right to personal health care decisions, including the right for a woman to control her own body without state interference. His ruling effectively returns abortion access in Georgia to its previous status, allowing the procedure up to around 22 weeks of pregnancy. Okay. Let's go through some tricky words in this one. So we have the word emphasize or emphasized, past tense here.
mm. So if you emphasize something, you give special importance to it, especially in a conversation or writing. You make it the focal point of what you're talking about. Yeah. So maybe for us, we emphasize British English in our content because that's what's important to us.
Well, it's because it's the best, that's why.
Well,
Uh,
yeah, I mean,
so Dan emphasized that British English is the only type of English to study.
you heard it here first.
Of course, we're joking, guys. Yeah. Um, And then the next one is so let's go back to the paragraph. He emphasized that the Georgia Constitution guarantees the right to personal health care decisions. So he made it, he really focused on that point. He added strength to that point. Interference.
So to interfere is to kind of get involved with something in a way to disrupt it or to slow it down or hinder it in some way.
Hmm.
Like maybe one of the most common examples is sports when somebody's, for example, running after the ball and somebody runs in their way, they interfere with what they're doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, interference in this case is interfering with the woman's ability to deal with her own body, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Good example with the sports analogy there. So just getting in the way, basically. And that's what they're suggesting here.
Mm.
Yeah,
Making something more difficult, I would say, is probably a good way to think about that.
yeah, definitely so. Some external factor doing that to you,
Mm.
not necessarily an internal. Well, it could be internal. It could be like your mind or something, I guess. So yeah. So if you're someone who is not so productive, maybe your brain is interfering with your productivity. Yeah, it's possible.
Look, you don't need to tell everybody about my problems, Stu.
I'm trying not to. I'm trying not to. We made a promise. Okay. Here we go. The next one, effectively.
So if you grew up like me playing Pokemon, you probably know this word very well. So if something is effective, it achieves a desired result well, you know, it was a good way to achieve that result. And this is the adverb version to do something effectively. You did it in a really, efficient manner to get your desired result.
Yeah.
So, razor leaf is super effective.
Not against me. I'm rock, as you can see from my body.
Uh, yeah, that's it. Well, there you go.
Yeah, maybe not. Okay, if there was a soft Pokemon, that would be me, I guess. If there was a soft type. So his ruling effectively returns abortion access in Georgia to its previous status. Yeah,
Mm.
this is nice. Okay, let's go through some pronunciation for the second paragraph, then we'll do the shadowing. So we got the word judge. Oh, many people struggle with this. Oh, we should
Yeah, tough
probably also
one.
do the place as well at the same time so we can
Mm,
show the difference between the two. So actually, first off, let's go through Georgia. Georgia. We have the
mm,
word George, the name, which you may have heard. It's useful to get that correct when you're seeing people and saying their names. So, but the state name, Georgia. Georgia.
mm,
And then we have judge. Judge.
mm,
Yeah, that's a tricky one, isn't it? And then
mm,
I've taken a couple of the ones that we've gone through here. So emphasized, emphasized.
mm,
Watch out for the ph, of course,
mm,
and emphasized. Yeah. So
mm.
this is a useful word.
That cluster is difficult.
Yeah, 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 totally is. And then guarantee, guarantee. This
Mm.
you a yeah, you could be mistaken on that. I think so. Guarantee.
Warren.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly that. Yeah, that's the tricky thing. So now we'll go through, both of us will read it, and then you can practice shadowing with either of us, or just practice your listening skills, or confirm you understand the words that we just talked about. So here we go. In a significant ruling on September 30th, 2024, a Georgia judge struck down the state's 6 weeks abortion ban, deeming it unconstitutional. The ban, which was enacted in 2019 and went into effect in 2022 after the US Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade, prohibited most abortions once fetal cardiac activity could be detected, typically around 6 weeks of pregnancy, often before many women realize they are pregnant. Fulton County Superior Court Judge Robert McBurney, in his decision, emphasized that the Georgia Constitution guarantees the right to personal health care decisions, including the right for a woman to control her body without state interference. His ruling effectively returns abortion access in Georgia to its previous status, allowing the procedure up to around 22 weeks of pregnancy.
Good
Okay,
work, mate. Lovely. Good reading.
fantastic. Thank you very much. I try my best. And
Mm.
here we go, buddy. It's your turn.
Better turn on my northernness. Here we go.
Mm.
So, in a significant ruling on September 30th, 2024, a Georgia judge struck down the state's 6 week abortion ban, deeming it unconstitutional. The ban, which was enacted in 2019 and went into effect in 2022 after the US Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade, prohibited most abortions once fetal cardiac activity could be detected, typically around 6 weeks of pregnancy, often before many women realize that they're pregnant. Fulton County Superior Court Judge Robert McBurney, in his decision, emphasized that the Georgia Constitution guarantees the right to personal health care decisions, including the right for a woman to control her own body without state interference. His ruling effectively returns abortion access in Georgia to its previous status, allowing the procedure up to around 22 weeks of pregnancy.
Nice. Tell me, I'd love to know what's your opinion on this?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that it's hard to understand as a bloke.
Yeah.
It's difficult for me to have an opinion on something that is never really going to affect me. But a woman's body's her own body, man. She can decide what's best for her. Like, I don't think the state should be getting involved in that kind of thing. And yeah, I'm just like, it's your body. You do what you want. To be honest, that's my thought process. How about you?
Well, I didn't realize I've heard of all of these terms, and I've heard
Mm,
about this Roe versus Wade. They talk a lot about it in the media.
mm.
But I didn't realize it prohibited abortions typically around 6 weeks. That's
That's
crazy
mad.
because you
Yeah,
don't even know. So obviously, it's mostly due to a religious side of things.
I would
I
imagine. Yeah.
I have no problem if you believe in that side that
Mm,
you wouldn't have an abortion because it's your beliefs. But to put a nat or a statewide ban in place,
mm,
people who don't necessarily have the same beliefs as you, I think is slightly
mm.
unfair because I don't think anyone. I think most people would want the opportunity
They've
to
got a
have a
choice. Yeah.
decision, yeah, because it might,
Mm,
there's so many cases, could be rape, could be some kind of think
Yeah.
that they didn't that they some reason there might be a financial problem. Maybe they couldn't support it, and it would have been a worse
Mm.
situation for everyone involved. So this is the
It's
only issue.
difficult.
I think the other side of it is there does need to be a limit. So
Well, if you ask my mum, she'd say anywhere up to I'm now 40 years old, so she'd probably say anywhere up to like
oh, she's right. No,
So, never too late.
yeah, maybe. Um, but yeah, I
I'm
think
joking, by the way, just in case anybody takes that literally. I am
no,
joking. Yeah.
of course, of course. It's that famous British sarcasm. But I think that there does need to be a limit at some point because there must be a point where it's, yeah,
Mm.
the people
It's a
need to
really
realize
difficult
responsibility.
situation.
I also think people need to realize their responsibilities as well. You,
Yeah.
I think sometimes we allow that to be like a way to keep safe. You can,
Like a get out of jail free card,
yeah,
like.
yeah, yeah, in a sense. So, as someone who's got two kids, like, and
Mm.
um, yeah, that's just my personal feelings. It's a great thing
Mm.
to have kids as well. It's really, really good, in my opinion. So, yeah, it's an interesting topic. We'd love to know what your opinion is. This is going to probably divide a few people in the comments,
It's going
but
to be Marmite.
be friendly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
everyone's allowed their own opinion, I think, aren't they? Another word, sorry, I just want to quickly pick up before we go, is this word status. I meant to say on pronunciation.
Oh, status.
Status. Yeah. So in America, you
Uh,
might hear status, whereas we say status in Britain.
well, I don't even say the T. Status.
Status, mate. Status. Chase
Yeah.
status. Okay. British pop.
Showing our age. Here we go.
There we go. So let's go to the second paragraph. The diamond cutter. Here we go. The Amazon rainforest, a path towards a sustainable bioeconomy. So we're going really in a different direction here. But again, it's all
Yeah.
about vocabulary. I wanted to find some nice vocabulary, something new for you guys. So let's
Hmm.
let's have a mosey on down and check out this first paragraph. Okay, here we go. The Amazon rainforest, one of the Earth's most vital ecosystems, is at a critical juncture due to escalating deforestation, climate change, and unsustainable land use. In October 2024, several reports highlighted the urgent need for a shift towards a sustainable bioeconomy to reverse deforestation and protect the region's biodiversity. Okay, there we go.
Wow. Lots of long words in here.
Yeah, this is the long
Uh,
paragraph for the day. And maybe
mm,
there's quite a few coming up as well. But yeah, there's some beautiful ones in here and a couple. The thing is, with the longer the word, the less likely you're going to hear it, to be honest with you. But there's also some short ones like this. We're going to go through in a bit,
mm.
which you will hear. We should mention, do you say echo or eco? Because I've heard some
For
people,
me, it's eco, yeah. But here
I
in
say,
Japan, they tend to pronounce it echo, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's
Like echo, echo, echo.
exactly, yeah, 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 yeah.
But eco for
So
me, yeah.
I say eco as well. So just in
Mm.
case anybody gets any confusion, just watch out for that. Okay. So ecosystem, what is it?
So it's like I guess you could say it's like a biological group or a biological community of different organisms working together in their environment. If you've ever seen a YouTube channel called Ants Canada, which is a guy that has these crazy big terrariums and basically just puts a bunch of different stuff in there, be like, let's
Well,
see how this
terrarium.
evolves.
What's this word? I don't know this word.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
it's basically like instead of a fish tank, it's like a bug tank or animal tank,
Not
I
like an
suppose.
ant colony. It's like a
Yeah, it's kind of starts like puts ants in there and spiders and all sorts of mad stuff, and they all work together to kind of build an ecosystem.
that's an
So
interesting word. I've
interesting.
never heard of that one before. My son watches a lot of like in Japan, just a bit of culture for you guys. In Japan, kids are really obsessed with bugs. So
Yeah,
kind of where
especially
Pokemon Go.
catching in the park. Yeah, like
Exactly. So I've done all that in the summers, and he watches like a YouTuber where they're specifically beetles fighting against each other,
mm.
or
Oh,
something.
I've seen it. It's
Yeah,
it's weird, but it's cool.
yeah, it's actually quite cool. Yeah. And it doesn't do any harm to the animals, I believe. So it's just
Mm,
like a natural thing that they would have done anyway. So, but
mm,
it's an interesting just testing the strength and this kind of thing. And as soon as he gets like any problems, he usually moves them apart from each other.
sure.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's interesting. in an interesting ecosystem, you could say. So this talks about obviously the rainforest has so many animals, some probably still not found or haven't been found before because they're
Mm,
always naming new animals when they find them. And it talks about how it's the most vital, one of the most vital ecosystems. Because
mm.
obviously not just the animals, but also I guess, for oxygen,
Plants
planet.
and yeah.
Yeah, so there's ecosystem. This is the one I was talking about, like a shorter word. You feel like you should have seen it, but you've probably never seen it.
Mm,
Juncture.
yeah, it's an interesting word. I mean, maybe people are more comfortable with the word junction if
Yeah.
you're a driver, and it's a particular, basically, a juncture is a particular point in time or a particular point in an event,
Mm.
like usually where something changes or something happens, you know. Um, for example, something like there was a critical juncture and the business needed to make a quick decision. Something happened, and at that point, they needed to do something. So that's kind of what it's saying now. It's like right now is a juncture for the Amazon rainforest, right?
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
Like a turning point, a fork stuck in the road.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. So you could also say right now the Premier League is at its juncture, is at a critical juncture with this
Mm,
Man City court case.
yeah.
It's going on in the Premier League at the minute, which could really change things a lot.
Mm.
So yeah, it's good for junction's a great example of where you have to make a decision, don't you? Where you,
Which way you're gonna go, right? Like I'm sure that's connected somewhere along the
yeah, yeah,
line, but yeah.
100%. It must be, yeah. Deforestation, very important word to learn.
So the cutting down of forest and trees and basically getting rid of all the trees and the wildlife and making like a flat land, usually so then they can build something there. Yeah. So
Yeah,
they'll cut down whatever's there to be able to clear space to build something.
yeah. Well, the D prefix is here. So if you don't
Mm,
know, and worthwhile knowing, when you have D at the start of a word, DE, it means
mm.
off. And I usually think it just means the opposite, it tends to mean the
Yeah,
opposite of.
to go in the opposite direction usually.
So
Yeah.
deforestation means deforest, no
Mm,
forest essentially. So
mm,
it's
mm.
yeah, you kind of can tell if you got those prefixes as we talked about last week, it can really help
Be
you.
quite useful. Yeah.
Unsustainable. We've got another nice prefix on this one as well.
So
Unsus
un meaning not, basically. Same as unconstitutional we had earlier. So sustainable is something that can be maintained at the current level, but if it's unsustainable, it can't be maintained at the current level. It's going to eventually run out of resources, for example. You know,
So for example, fossil fuels are unsustainable, yeah?
yeah, they're going to
Fossil
run out
fuels,
eventually, right?
gas, coal, for example, they're unsustainable, can't continue in the future, eventually will finish.
Mm,
Unless you replenish the thing in some way, then it's
mm,
sustainable. A business that brings in £200 a month, but then the expenses are £500 a month is unsustainable. It's not
mm.
possible to continue unless you have a big amount of cash behind you, you know.
I
So
thought we weren't talking about my problems on this podcast, Stu.
yeah, sorry. I just have to show myself as the bigger guy, you know. Uh,
Very good.
and the last word in this paragraph, bioeconomy.
Good. So I guess economy we all know as like regular life. You spend money, you pay taxes, and money gets moved around. It's kind of like the natural version of this, like the biological version of this. So I guess it's instead of money for goods, it's money for biological resources, right? I guess is how I would think about that.
Yeah.
So maybe, for example, a country deciding to spend money on planting a load of trees because that'll help them generate oxygen or paper in the future, for example.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So bio,
Mm,
referring to biology, as you said. So we've
mm,
got these two words connecting together, which is why it's
mm,
to learn these separately
mm,
sometimes. Um, but yeah, this is an interesting term. In this paragraph, it says um, Reports highlighted the urgent need for a shift towards a sustainable bioeconomy. So, for example, if you take away all the trees, your bioeconomy must be in a deficit, you'd imagine, because you're only
Mm,
minusing, not plussing. You're not planting new trees.
mm.
So
I
there we
suppose
go.
we're seeing this with like fossil fuels. People are trying to move away from fossil fuels into more bioeconomical. That's not even a word, I don't think.
Economical.
Um,
Maybe it is. Yeah.
bioeconomical. Do you think that's also probably it's
Yeah, probably.
acceptable? But yeah, like I think we're trying to move away from fossil fuels, which are unsustainable, to something that's a bit more biologically friendly in the long term.
Yes, 100%.
Mm.
So I
Good.
do think I saw it somewhere. That's why I'm pretty sure it is.
Bioeconomical. I mean, it's interesting. So anyway, should be a
Oh,
word. Maybe I'm just making up
it
words
is
on this podcast
now.
today.
Second word created on the podcast today.
Wow, I'm on a roll.
Yes. Okay. So some tricky words in this one. I've picked out vital, the I specifically. Oh, actually, tool is actually useful to know this where we're not pronouncing the A, it's turned into a weak sound. Tool, vital. So two things in that one. Several, similar thing. The similar reason why I picked this one is the rule at the end. We're not having that A sound, the ah sound is not there, not even an A sound. Instead, it's a all we're
Roll.
having. Normally, when it's connected to an L, you'll see this happen quite a lot, actually, specifically at the end of words. Uh, urgent, urgent. I picked this out because of this. Again, it comes from this world, girl, word, urgent. Okay, so practice that. I think I got a video on the on my YouTube, so check that out, just specifically on that sound. And then biodiversity. So I actually, when I read through the first time, I did make a mistake. I almost said biodiversity, but it's
See, I
bio.
say biodiversity.
Really? Oh, okay, there we go. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Maybe also Americans say biodiversity then. I would say biodiversity.
Mm. I think there's quite a lot of crossover between like Northern English pronunciation and American. Like, for
American.
example, I say schedule rather than schedule. So
Exactly. Yeah.
that's a big one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the only reason why we say British English is more Southern English is because of government. I don't think there's any other
Sure.
reason. So yeah, um, that's why we see the differences. But actually, there is so much you could compare between Northern England and American English.
Mm.
It's not the same, of course not. No, there's so many accents in the north of England or around
Mm.
the UK in general, but there is a connection there. Yeah, it's more
Mm.
older style. I think it depends when the pilgrims went over, what the language was
Sure.
like in the location, and the fact that it started to change when France came over. No, 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 that would have been way afterwards. But
There we
anyway,
go.
within the main areas of England in the south, there would have been more, probably more French
More
spoken,
Normandy.
Latin
Mm.
spoken words, and that the pronunciation would have changed. Yeah.
It's really interesting kind of looking back at this stuff, but it's also like baffling sometimes.
It's super interesting. I love it. I think it's so
Mm.
cool. Like just because of the path we took, or well, whoever went wherever, that's how it's
Mm.
changed to where we are today. It's really, especially British. Well, I'm sure in all countries there's an interesting backstory, but especially Brit. I
Mm.
love the British story about how
Mm.
pronunciation changed and English changed. So
Mm.
okay, let's go to paragraph two. We
Mm.
have. The bioeconomy involves utilizing biological resources to create sustainable growth. However, while the Amazon's potential in this area is significant, it remains largely untapped. According to a report by the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, the bioeconomy of the eight Amazonian countries could contribute significantly to the global bioeconomy market, which is projected to reach 7.7 trillion by 2030. Yet these countries currently capture less than 1% of that market potential. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, there's some big words.
Interesting.
Well, and ones that we irregular, quite irregular. We don't see them so frequently.
Mm.
Zonian is a good one.
Mm.
So let's go through some of these. Then what did I pick out here? Untapped.
Good word. As in not yet explored or not yet used or even exploited in this case. Not yet exploited, I suppose. You'll often hear it in business. We need to find like an untapped market for our products or something like that. Yeah. So it's like it's not yet been explored or used.
Nice. Yes. Untapped potential, normally a common collocation.
Yeah.
So you could say that about many famous sports players,
Yeah.
Tim
Especially
Henry.
when they're like young people as well. Oh, it's got tons of untapped potential. He hasn't used it yet.
Exactly. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
He said that about Jude Bellingham, for example, when he was
Sure.
younger. And now he's showing the fruits of his labor.
He, he's
Uh,
tapping his potential.
he's tapping his potential. Tap, tap. Tap it in. Okay, and the next one is contribute. Yeah, contribute. Again,
Yeah, I'm gonna
I was
say like
questioning this.
contribute, right? The
I
stress is
was
on tree,
questioning this.
contribute.
Yeah, I was questioning this before the session actually, because I was
Mm.
like, why have I got two pronunciations in my head?
Maybe it's from like contribution where you're getting a bit lost or something. But
Yeah,
yeah, for me, contribute, the stress is on tree. But anyway, I'll leave the pronunciation for you in a second. Contribute to give something, such as time or money or something, in order to help achieve a goal or make something happen. So, for example, I'm contributing my expert knowledge to help this podcast.
there we go. Expert.
I could see Stu's eyes roll so far into the back
Oh
of his
no,
head
no,
when I
no.
said that. But yeah,
Contribute.
good.
Yeah,
Contribute.
contribute. So yeah,
Mm,
contribution. There we go. It's like
mm.
I guess it's similar to economy, economics. Like the
Yeah, electricity or whatever. Yeah.
contribute. Well, we're going to come back to that one anyway for pronunciation, and then the next one is projected.
Mm.
Project.
So project as a verb, not project as in the noun, project as the verb. Um, yeah, so it's kind of like a prediction or what you expect is going to happen based on your plan. So, for example, if you plan to study 10 new English words every day, in a year, you project that you're going to study over 3,000 new words, nearly 4,000. So, yeah,
Yeah, nice. I like it. I like it. I like
projection.
it. So, what do you project for this podcast?
Oh, it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger, isn't it? Obviously. Like, how could it not?
100% to such charismatic figures at the front. Oh yeah, yeah.
I hope people understand sarcasm because otherwise we're going to look
Well,
really
yeah, they're
weird.
definitely learning it. I can tell you that for a fact. I'm
Yeah.
projecting they will understand it at the end.
Hey!
Hey, there we go. And capture. I picked this one because it's
Mm.
kind of an interesting way of using the word. Not maybe not what people are imagining, but actually is in a sense.
Yeah, just in a, it's not as physical. Most people assume capture is like to gather something, usually by force, right? And control it, right? Yeah, it's like catch, capture, going back to Pokemon again, like you capture Pokemon basically. But I think in this case, we're using it more metaphorically to talk about how much money is available and how much money they're actually getting, how much money they're taking from that big high, if you like. So yeah, we tend to use it more physically, but you can use it in a more metaphorical sense like that.
Yeah, like capture the
Yeah,
flag or something like this. People might have heard that,
yeah, yeah.
but yeah, it's just to gain something in essence, isn't it?
So like control, take control or something. Yeah.
100%. Okay, let's look at pronunciation. So I picked this first one,
Mm,
utilizing, similar to university. Some people might not realize that that would be slightly different, but this U sound at the
mm,
start. Then growth, specifically for the
mm.
TH. I mean, this
With.
growth. Yeah, growth.
Yeah.
Oath. It's like such a
Mm,
big change in your mouth position between O,
grow.
and that's really something. If you struggle with this word, it's just practice. You just need to get that movement happening.
Oh.
That's all. Yeah.
Because you've got that diphthong first, which is already a lot of movement. The oh. And
Mm.
then,
Hips are pushing forward and
yeah.
to bring everything back, and then move your
Yeah.
tongue in the correct position. So yeah, it's a lot of movement, but it is all to do with practice. It really is nothing.
Mm,
And then contribute,
mm,
contribute,
mm.
contribute. Okay, so there's those ones. Let's go through the whole thing, shall we? I will start first. We'll do the shadowing portion now, or the understanding portion, whichever you prefer. So please listen or come along with me on the ride. The words will be on the screen. Don't forget, these are only 2 paragraphs. Actually, in the PDF, some of these will have 3 or 4 paragraphs, so you can learn new and other words. Also, we're only picking out around about 4 words per paragraph to practice and talk about. But actually, each paragraph, there's at least 10, I would say. 10
Mm.
for each, just to really break down those definitions and give you examples. And also, there's a couple of games in there to help you memorize the vocabulary.
Oh, cool.
It's free, the PDF in the description. All right. Let's go through it. Here we go. The Amazon rainforest, one of the Earth's most, I've added a word in there. Let me start again. The Amazon rainforest, one of Earth's most vital ecosystems, is at a critical juncture due to escalating deforestation, climate change, and unsustainable land use. In October 2024, several reports highlighted the urgent need for a shift toward a sustainable bioeconomy to reverse deforestation and protect the region's biodiversity. The bioeconomy involves utilizing biological resources to create sustainable growth. However, while the Amazon's potential in this area is significant, it remains largely untapped. According to a report by the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, the bioeconomy of the 8 Amazonian countries could contribute significantly to the global bioeconomy market, which is projected to reach 7.7 trillion by 2030. Yet these countries currently capture less than 1% of that market potential.
Good
Okay.
stuff. I think it's important to kind of acknowledge that
Yeah.
even as native speakers, sometimes we like second guess ourselves and we
Yeah.
trip over words sometimes, and like
Yeah.
it's
No,
natural. Like if it
it,
happens to you, like it's
it
fine.
is
Like
so normal, honestly. And even in your own language, whoever's watching, you'll probably realize you also do the same. One thing
mm,
that I tell all my students, it's great to practice reading aloud, but it's a skill
mm,
you've never practiced before, probably. So don't
mm,
expect to be fluent, but expect to be worse than you usually are, to be honest, because
mm,
you are not used to reading aloud. It feels weird, you know. And even for
mm,
me, I've done a lot of it, but I still, for me, sometimes I want to double check. I want to make sure what I'm saying is
mm.
correct. And it's very normal to make a mistake and
Yeah,
stop you.
I think it's important that even teachers, native speakers, like we do it too. So don't don't beat yourself up, yeah, yeah,
Definitely don't do that. Literally, or in this
or
case,
figuratively.
yeah.
Anyway, so here we
Okay.
go.
Danster.
The Amazon rainforest, one of Earth's most vital ecosystems, is at a critical juncture due to escalating deforestation, climate change, and unsustainable land use. In October 2024, several reports highlighted the urgent need for a shift towards a sustainable bioeconomy to reverse deforestation and protect the region's biodiversity. The bioeconomy involves utilizing biological resources to create sustainable growth. However, while the Amazon's potential in this area is significant, it remains largely untapped. According to the report by the Inter-American Development Bank, the IDB, the bioeconomy of the 8 Amazonian countries could contribute all right, significantly to the global bioeconomy market, which is projected to reach $7.7 trillion by 2030. Yet these countries currently capture less than 1% of that market potential. I've
Yeah, I know.
worked myself into a shoot there, mate.
We both feel similarly on that one, I think.
It's because I was thinking about you saying it while I
Yeah,
was reading
yeah.
it, and I'm like, yeah.
That's the
Anyway,
word. You had a
yeah.
little bit of what do they call that? Where, yeah, imposter syndrome in a sense.
Yeah, that's it. Like, put myself in your shoes for a couple of seconds and look where it got me.
Yeah, you were right there. Exactly the same as me. Those
Yeah,
can't be a good thing.
depends.
So nice on this one. What do you think about? Do you think it's important to be thinking about these important issues? Do you think we should be replenishing the rainforest if we take away from it?
Yeah, I mean, like, from a black and white standpoint, obviously it's better to have more trees and stuff because that's kind of the planet. Like, and you can't just get rid of it and hope everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
And there's a big gray area in the middle with like what ideally is good and what actually is possible in this world. And I think it's just kind of sad that the thing that I feel really bad about is I'm just one person. Like, how much difference could I possibly make? And it's like you can see the iceberg, but what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel in these days with like global warming. I do what I can, recycle and try as much as I can, but there's only so much one person can do. So you feel a bit powerless about this kind of stuff, to be
I think the
honest.
key thing is doing something, not doing
Mm.
nothing, you know. So
Contributing.
I'm, con, con, I don't.
Contributing.
I'm going to be stuck there. I don't want to. Yeah, let's move on quickly. But yes, I should do something towards
Yeah.
situation 100%. And I will say this: I've been working in my home office for nearly 5 years now,
Mm.
and I just recently got some kind of greenery in my room. So my room has
Mm.
got like a big double window, but oftentimes I've got it shut off because of the lighting for videos and stuff.
Mm.
So it's really just like a four walls essentially. And I found that having the plants in actually do me a lot of good. It sounds weird,
Mm.
100% it does me a lot of good. So yeah, I'm a big fan of it, you know, um, doing something anyway of some type to help support. But as we get bigger, maybe we can put more back into the different communities and things. So there's
It's
opportunities
not
available.
all doom and gloom, is it, mate?
100%. No, no, no. Oh yeah, yeah. Things are can only get better as we move forward, I think.
Thanks.
Okay, the last one is a bit of fun. So every
Oh, here we go.
we do two important ones of big stories from the last week, and then this one is a bit more local news. Okay, and usually local news. I think the best one I ever saw was pigeon gets run over, or
Mm.
something as the headline in the main story in the newspaper. It's normally not that that situation's good, but like it's like
It's not
very far
world
away.
changing, is it?
It's far away from national news. Yeah, so I picked one
So,
this time from Dan's neck of the woods.
God, here we go.
Your this one is from the Yorkshire Post, and we're going to be looking at this title: "Female flasher put behind bars for bottle attack in South Shields." So South Shields. What do you know about South
Oh,
Shields?
apparently it's where people bottle each other after flashing things. So, oh my word. I mean, growing up in Yorkshire, the worst bit is that this is not surprising to me. Like, in no way, shape, or form am I shocked by this. But when you said you'd got something from my neck of the woods, the Yorkshire News, I was a bit apprehensive as what was going to come up. But okay, there we go.
Yeah,
So typical Wednesday night in South Shields, I would imagine.
yeah. I bet you had done this a couple of times as well.
Oh yeah, everybody's been here, mate. It's just part of growing up.
Okay, so let's have a quick browse through this one. So I'll read it through. We won't go so much through pronunciation and stuff, so we will have a little chat and
It's just a bit of fun.
go through a few interesting words, should we say. So here we go. A female flasher who kept her freedom after twice exposing herself in public has been put behind bars after a city centre bottle attack. Lindsay Smith was given a community order last October after she downed 6 litres of cider, then strutted around and stripped off in South Shields. In February this year, she was once again exposed her breasts and genitals while dancing along to buskers in the same town after having a litre bottle of vodka, but still was not locked up. Just months later, in August, Smith threw a wine bottle at a couple who had just visited a cat cafe in Newcastle and were complete strangers to her. The thing that actually jumped out to me most from this article when I read it the first time was there's a cat cafe in Newcastle.
You
And
gotta
that was
you
like
gotta find the positives, mate. Like
that's not the most important thing I know, but that was like, what? Since when have they started appearing in England? Like in Japan, there's so many
they're
everywhere.
quite common, yeah, yeah. But all right, fair enough.
Shocked me.
Mate, there's a lot to unpack here. There's quite a lot to unpack.
Yeah, we'll
Um,
chat about it.
there's one word you haven't put in the vocabulary, which I'm going to add,
Go on.
and it's quite common in the north. It's the word bottle, but as a verb.
To
To
bottle something.
bottle.
Yeah.
To bottle something means like,
Oh,
you
so we got
you
a
kind of
couple of
chicken
like,
out. But as in to bottle someone, as in you hit them with a bottle,
yeah, bottle,
as a weapon.
bottle. Yeah.
Bottle. We're going to end up down that glottal T.
Yeah, yeah.
nightmare. But anyway, so yeah, to bottle as a verb, to hit somebody violently with a bottle, usually a glass one. Hopefully that never happens to you, but that's something we probably need to mention because of a city centre bottle attack.
Yeah, that's important. So yeah, they used a bottle when they attacked someone, and we also use it as a verb. So that's how frequently it's happened. Good. It turned
More
itself,
common in the north,
uh,
maybe.
Google changed itself into a verb because we use it so much. I'm Googling something.
Yeah,
To bottle
to
someone
bottle.
in an attack has been used so much. We now use it
In the
as a
past tense, he bottled him.
he bottled him. He bottled him. But the other one that I brought up, to bottle something. So that's when
Yeah.
um, you kind of get so really it means to be so afraid of someone.
Stu, best
that you-
example. We both bottled the pronunciation of
I
contribute or
definitely bottled it at the
contribute.
end. Yeah, bottled the when I was reading it through, and then we were
Mm,
talking about it afterwards. I was like, I don't want to say it.
yeah,
Or
bottled it. So,
Tottenham always bottle it.
as a somewhat Arsenal fan, I quite like that.
Somewhat
Yeah.
Arsenal fan.
Oh, yeah, well, Wednesday is shit, so got to find somebody to watch it
Oh,
Premier
Sheffield
League.
Wednesday. Yeah, you're talking about the local
Sorry,
club.
yeah, Sheffield Wednesday. They haven't been in Premier League since about 1991, so I had to pick some team to watch on TV.
I
So,
don't know how your weeks go, mate. Is Wednesday really
uh,
bad?
well, yeah, it's sometimes.
So yeah,
Anyway, let's get back into this
back into
vocabulary because
this. We
we've
got the
got off
word
track.
flasher. Do you want to explain?
Yeah, so probably we need to define the term to flash somebody, as
Well,
in to
can I just
expose.
can I quickly just group some of these words together? So we got flasher,
Yeah.
we got expose herself or expose
Mm,
oneself. We got strip off.
mm.
So all of
Yeah,
these
they're all basically the same. Yeah, as in to expose. Usually, we're talking about genitals at this point.
and genitals
Um,
are.
um, cock and balls, or what? No,
Well,
the reproductive organs
okay.
on the outside of your body. I would
I was
say.
going to say you.
Nobody's showing their uterus,
Yeah, you're splitting open your
but
gut or something. Like this.
I mean, there's probably a market for everything in this world, mate.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, a flasher is somebody who flashes somebody, as in peekaboo,
Yeah.
and exposing herself is like a nicer way of putting it.
Yeah.
And stripping off is to strip your clothes off,
Bit
remove your
informal, I suppose,
clothes.
compared to
Yeah.
exposed.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So
So yeah,
all of that
to
paints
get
a pretty picture.
to get into your birthday suit.
Way
Yeah,
birthday suit. That's
birthday
that's
suit.
an interesting one.
No,
Yeah.
no
Or
clothes.
in there's loads of that, in the buff, in the nude, in the nip.
Yeah, 100%. There's quite a few there we have for that one. And then I definitely want to introduce to down something.
As in not like the direction,
Yeah.
down as in a
Well,
verb, as in
technically,
to
it
drink
is
something
going
in one
down
go. Well,
down the
yeah, I mean
hatch,
like
isn't it?
down the hatch. But we use it in, especially in UK, because we've got a bit of a drinking problem. To drink something usually in one go as quickly as possible. Like
Mm.
Stu's going to down some water right now.
Yeah, that's not happening. This is 2 minutes.
No, just a sip, it's fine. But like if you've got a pint, maybe people take a lot of pleasure and be like, look how quickly I can down this pint and smash it back as quickly as they can.
Yeah, 100%. And then I want to bring up one
Yeah,
more.
well, 6 liters of cider, like down.
Yeah, no, that's no. I mean, this must be
Oh,
exaggerated. It can't be one after
yeah.
the other, but she may
Oh, you
be
never know. South Shields, isn't it? Like
in a short period of time. What you're telling me that this lady has picked up some kind of container that has 6 liters of alcohol in it at one
you've
time?
been to like off licenses when they've got like white lightning and it's
Yeah,
in a
but white
keg.
lightning is
Like,
still like 3 liters or something, isn't it? It's not.
yeah, maybe
That's
it's one in each arm. Like, you're fine. Like, I can imagine it. And for those outside the UK, if you go to an off license, which is like a local place that sells alcohol, they've always got cheap, nasty cider. It's always called like White Lightning or something like this. And it's usually like £3 for 6 liters
scrumpy.
or
Did you ever have
something.
scrumpy?
See, Scrumpy's a bit more respectable. I mean, you
Yeah, I
pick it
think
out
so.
your teeth for like a week, but White Lightning is like, it's basically like
White
turpentine,
lightning is
essentially.
so horrible taste for me. I really don't like it. Oh my God. It's like
It's like the kind of stuff you wouldn't even clean the
petrol
floor
fluid.
with.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, but if your objective is to get blotto drunk, it's the cheapest way. It's the most effective way of doing it. You get it done effectively from earlier.
It is definitely effective. And then the last word I want to go over, because I think it's one that people might see often, and that's the word
Hmm.
busker. A busker. Have you ever seen a
So
busker?
yeah. I've played in bands and stuff. I've never done much busking. Busking is usually when you're like in a shopping street or outside a busy station, usually acoustic guitar, but these days people get pretty inventive and you're singing and playing music, and usually you've got like a case in front of you to collect money for your people passing by. Like public performance, but not in like a more like really public performance, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you,
where
the
people just
closest is
happen
like
to be.
having a hat on the floor and then
Yeah.
and playing some music. I was in London. I saw a guy doing bagpipes busking.
Wow.
Oh my, yeah. I want to say quickly that now you can use your credit card for buskers. I was
Shut
shocked.
up.
Yeah, honestly, because I was in
But
London.
here in Japan, you still can't even use your credit card in every shop.
Yeah,
Like
well, yeah. We wouldn't have been able to even use it in most shops. Oh,
unbelievable. So you can like tap your card to donate to a busker.
yeah, and then go to
Bloody hell.
gives you. Yeah, I was shocked. Like honestly, that was like last
The future
September.
is now.
It's unbelievable, Jeff. So yeah,
And for anybody that doesn't know, that's a comment you'll hear for quite a lot in the UK. Unbelievable, Jeff. Relating
unbelievable.
to Chris
Chris
Kamara, I would
Martin,
imagine. Yeah, from Soccer Saturday or Saturday, whatever
famous
it was.
personality who said it on TV,
I
and it
love Chris Kamara. Absolutely
became
love
a
him.
meme before a meme, really, didn't it?
Yeah.
Catchphrase for him.
Um, Absolutely love him. Like there's one, I mean, completely off topic of your podcast, but there's one where basically the idea was Saturday you'd watch the TV and they'd have a reporter in each stadium and
Mm.
they'd cut to me like, "What's just happened at Old Trafford?" And Chris Kamara is unbelievably bad at this. And once the host was like, "Oh, we're going to go to Chris Kamara because there's been a sending off,"
Yeah.
and he like looks at the camera, he's like, "Has there?"
Has there? Yeah. Yeah.
He had no idea.
I always go back and watch the clips, you know.
Unbelievable, Jeff. So yeah, if you hear people saying that in the UK, it's a bit of a meme. So
It's a bit of a meme. Okay, let's
right.
finish off. Let's do three questions quiz. Okay, so here's the first one. Let's see how much vocabulary you have remembered from this session. Okay, so here's the first one. Please fill in the gap. The court made a final stating that the law was unconstitutional and must be changed. Is it A, aftermath, B, overs, C, ruling, or D, control? I'll give you 5 seconds. Pick a answer. 5.
We're in sync now.
And the answer is ruling. If you picked C, ruling, congratulations. Nice job.
Congratulations, mate.
Next one is going to be the country's natural resources remain largely offering great potential for future growth. Is it A, busker, B, untapped, C, expose oneself, D, scale up? 5 seconds. Here we go. Okay, and the answer is B, untapped. And the last one for today is this. It is illegal to in public places, and offenders can be fined or arrested. Is it A, expose oneself, B, scale up, C, untapped, or D, busker? 5 seconds. Here we go. And the answer to this last one is A, expose oneself. How did you do? Tell us in the comments. We'd love to know. And don't forget to pick up the PDF if you haven't yet, because there's so many extra activities in that one for you. Okay, that's it for this one. It's bye-bye from me.
And it's bye from me. That's how for now.
That was well rehearsed, that one. Yeah. Okay, see you next time. Ciao, ciao.